Hey guys, welcome back. Today I was sitting here feeling a little bit meh, to be honest. So I decided to grab a few favorite things and just have a fun time making a little page in my traveler's notebook. So I had a cute photo. It's an old photo. I printed it for Project Life. It never went into Project Life. It's just been sitting there in my sort of stash of older photos that I haven't used yet. Two cuties. I'm going to use this. I've got the center page in my notebook here, so it does have a bunch of stitching on it. This is just one of my handmade notebooks, and so I had stitched it in pink, which might not be the best move, but so now I've got this pink thread down the middle here, and I just grabbed a few random things. So I grabbed 5 kind of things. So I have got some pink Nouveau embellishment boost. I grabbed this Heavy Doodle stencil, hard for you to see. It's kind of like a leopard print. I have got some She's Magic thickers. They're kind of iridescent with pink foam. Mildly concerned about using the foam thickers in here, but we'll see how we go. Some little adhesive sequins. And a bunch of paper scraps. So this is all from She's Magic. I've also got this little baggie full of bits and pieces that I cut from this collection at the start of the year. I made some memory decks cards, and so I just put all the leftover bits and pieces that I had cut out in this bag. So I've got those and a bunch of other scraps. No real plan. I'm just gonna see how it goes. So clearly the first thing I have to do here is use this mixed media and the stencil that I've pulled out. The stencil's only a 6x6 stencil, and because the height of my page is 8 1/4, it's never going to fill up the whole page. And I've never had any great success with trying to sort of match stencils on top of each other. So I'm just going to tape this down. It's just a little bit of kind of post-it tape there. And I'm just going to do this one section. So I've got that embellishment mousse. And I'm just going to spread that out. It's a little bit dry, my jar of mousse here, so I am going to have to dip back into there a few times. I actually need a different palette knife, I think. I'm trying not to make it too thick, so I am scraping as much off there as I can, just because it is in my notebook, so I don't want it to be like super thick there. I need it to lay as flat as possible. And then that's it. That's all I can do at the moment. I'm going to need to let that dry, so I take a little break. Now I came back to this a good couple of hours later. I didn't want to use any sort of heat to dry that mousse because it is in a stitched notebook. I didn't want it to warp too much. The pages warped a little bit just from having that mixed media on there, but it would have warped more had I tried to hurry the process along like I normally would with, say, a heat gun or a hairdryer. So I was patient. I took the dog for a walk. I just let it dry on its own, and it hasn't warped too badly, so I'm happy with that. Now I realized that because that's sort of a 6x6 tall stencil, that my scrap papers are going to work perfectly because they're roughly 6 inches tall now too. So I ended up picking out, surprise, surprise, the rainbow one. I've left that kind of little branding strip on it though because I quite liked how it looked, and the photo hid the little hole there, so I'm just going to leave that as is. I haven't actually stuck anything down at the moment. I'm just kind of seeing how it's going to come together because I don't have a plan or an idea for this layout. I'm just sort of playing. Now, like I said, this bag of paper scraps, they're all sorts of die cuts. It's mostly circles left, to be honest. There's scalloped circles, there's plain circles. Some of them are from the She's Magic collection. There are a lot of plain cardstock ones in there too that I had created at the same time to sort of create the embellishments. There's also a bunch of butterflies, and you can see there's a few little coffee cups in there. I don't end up using them. I'm just going to go for kind of the scalloped circles and the butterflies. This is an awesome kind of thing to do with your scraps, especially if you've got a specific collection. You can keep them in a wee bag or a box or whatever, and then you can really easily put a page together like this, or a Memorex card, or anything that you want to, just some little embellishments. But having those already pre-done, I would never have ended up making a page like this if I had to like pick and choose which pattern I wanted to use and then go ahead and die cut that. Having all of those choices there pre-made for me just made this page come together so much quicker than it ever would if I had to try to make all of those decisions. So super happy. I spent an evening doing that. And I've used it, like I say, on a few projects now. So it's definitely something that you could do if you were not feeling particularly crafty but wanted to do something. Pick a favorite collection, cut a bunch of shapes out, pick some coordinating cardstocks, and just have them ready to go. I've kind of committed now, so I've glued down one of those little cluster pieces that I've made, and then it was at that point I realized I haven't actually glued the background down. So I've stuck my photo down, and then I am going to stick this background on to the actual notebook page. I'm going to leave the top half, that top portion blank, so straight page, so that it matches the left hand side. I know that with the branding strip there it's not exactly the same height, but I am going to add that title onto the left hand side there, and that kind of visually fills in that gap anyway. So this is my second kind of cluster, I guess. I am just using another one of those stitched scallop circles, a couple of those. So everything is still really flat on this page. This is one of those circles that, again, I had the branding strip piece on the bottom of it, so I've lined that up with the edge of my stencil there, and I love how the color kind of dips below that and turns into something different. So again, I've added a couple of butterflies, and then I'm going into my last little pick here, which is some of these sequins. The colors aren't exactly perfect for this collection, but the blue and the pink work really nicely. So maybe not so much with the purple, but I'm just sticking with the blues and the pinks. Now I'm going to pick one of those off, and I went and grabbed a second set of alphas. I'm just going to add a little word under here. So I had wild, and I'm going to put wild things under here. These are little foam letters from Citrus Twist. They're my favorite. I've used so many packs of these. I love them. And so I'm just going to place them under there. I didn't use a ruler or anything. The wild is kind of acting as my ruler guide for those. I decided to add the S first and work backwards so I could work out where the word was going to end. And then I added that sequin back in. Now I was trying to think about where I might want to put some journaling on here. Not a whole bunch of journaling, because, to be honest, it's just another photo of these sassy little friends that I have. So I just wanted to put a tiny little bit of journaling on here, and I guess it was like fortuitous, because adding this third kind of cluster down the bottom here means that I get my 3 points of interest, which is what I'm normally going for. I didn't actually start off intending to do that, but I'm going to end up with it, and it just makes the whole page feel a little bit more balanced. So I'm creating another cluster with the 3 things. I'm just adding this one so it's on the bottom in between the other 2, and chopped off the bottom of it. And then I went and just typed out, and journaling might be a stretch, to be honest. I typed out a few words on my typewriter using my pink typecast ribbon, just on some scrap paper. And I'm just going to trim those out into little pieces and then stick them down onto this cardstock circle. That's why I kept the cardstock kind of plainer rather than using a patterned one down here, just so that the words would actually stand out off there. I'm using a glue pen, which is very nearly out of glue, so hardly any was coming out. And you can see I did actually bother to go and get some tweezers to hold those, because it makes it so much easier. Once I get this last one glued down, that is this page all done. Now I will say that, like, spending this time playing with paper and colors and not having to make too many decisions about it, I just went for it. And I really did end up feeling a whole lot better for it. So as far as I go, paper crafting is always one of my go-tos for self-care days. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.